Repairing a Sony Walkman WM-4 or Walkman 4 portable cassette player. Welcome to Mr. Brown's Basement. I'm Mr. Brown, and today's video is about the Sony Walkman 4.
Excuse me?
Yes?
What's a Walkman for?
What's it for? Let me tell you. It's a music player for people in the 80s.
I get it now. Sony Walkman. I dated his younger sister Patricia. Lovely girl. You're telling me Sonny is in his 80s?
Not Sonny. Sony. Now be a nice neighbor and close the door and go away. The Sony Walkman was a line of premium cassette tape players that featured high-fidelity sound, stereo, in a small and stylish package. Many of them had twin 3.5mm phone jacks so people could listen to music together.
I thought Apple got rid of them.
No, not until 2017. Think of the Walkman as the great-great-granddad of Apple Music or Spotify. The Walkman line first came out in 1979, but this one, the Walkman 4 WM-4, came out in 1983.
I remember Patricia. There was this one time me and Sonny took her out for ice cream. She got it all over her football uniform. Nothing like removing chocolate
Please
chips
go.
from cleats.
Just go.
I'll never forget a deep...
I'll be sure to lock the door next time. I'm trying to do a video. I've moved to a far more secure location in Mr. Brown's basement, much less likely to be disturbed by a disturbed neighbor. I've got 6 volts coming from a power supply going to this Walkman. It takes 4 AA's, that's 6 volts. I'm going to put it in play mode. There we go. So I hear that the motor is running, but the take-up reel is not going anywhere. And the capstan, which is this spindle thing here, which actually drives the tape, it's not doing anything either. Let's try it in reverse or fast forward. No, nothing happening there. Nope. Definitely the belts. So let's take it apart. You will need to acquire the appropriate belts for the Walkman. Gradually and carefully separate the case halves. There's a catch right in there. Be careful not to break it. You can see that the main drive belt has fallen off the motor. It's really quite brittle. It's like hard. And I'll probably have to use alcohol to remove it. It's not flexible at all. It's garbage. Yeah, it's going to require some cleaning because there's bits of it in there. And it goes around this pulley here. But then there's going to be a second drive belt, a smaller drive belt, right underneath in there. While I'm in here, I'm going to have to clean up this dust. It's really quite filthy inside. The old lubricant attracts dust and hair and grit, and it will just gum up the mechanism. So later on, I'm going to have to take all that crud out. The next step is to take out 2 more Phillips screws to entirely drop the chassis out of the cabinet. Next, remove the spring that holds the door closed. It's not under a lot of tension, but it can still spring away, so be careful, don't lose it. Even the spring is dusty. Next, you must remove a screw that holds in a plate which holds in the LED. It's a very, very small screw. I want is to take this out of the cabinet. It's still tethered to the cabinet with the battery wires. I suppose I could desolder them, but I would rather avoid doing that if I can get away with it. Okay. This is going to be the side that needs cleaning. Not much I'm going to disassemble from this side. This is the side where I'm going to be doing the work. Next is the servo board. Straighten out that wire clamp. That's the servo board. Okay. Next, the audio board, which is this. The audio board is held on with one screw, which also holds on a copper spring, which makes contact to provide grounding for the metallic shield on the other side of the case. And there it is. This belt is super easy to replace. Though it looks like it's tight, or tight enough, it really isn't. Maybe a drop or two of lubricant. This is really not in good shape at all. So it's going to go. Alcohol, get rid of the crud and dust and crap. Using a cut cotton swab, I'm applying grease wherever there's metal against metal contact so that the mechanism operates smoothly. That's the old one. And here's the new one. Oh yeah, that's much more taut now. Yeah, it's a lot more taut now. Okay, next is this one here, which is just awful. It's going to need a little bit of cleaning there, and a little bit of cleaning on the motor. This tire is okay, but if this tire was worn out, then there'd be another problem with this. I've seen worse. I've seen Walkmans where it's turned to like a sticky goo that doesn't want to come off. But this isn't too bad. Okay, this flywheel retainer has to come out. That's a really stubby screw. There we go. Flywheel retainer is out. A little common sense here. The belt can't go off here to the motor because then when you put in flywheel retainer, it's going to bind. It's going to bind with it, which could not possibly be the design. So it's got to run on this side of this pulley. I think that may have something to do with the auto stop mechanism. So let's get it back together. It's been defuzzed, and it should work once I've put it back into the case. It's all back together except for the back part of the cabinet and the two screws that go there. The spring is in over here. Everything looks good to go. It's in play mode. 90 milliamps. All right, looks good. Let's put it back together and try a tape. I think it works. This Walkman is finished. It's not a bad Walkman. It's not the same quality as the TPS-L2 or the Walkman 1 or Walkman 2. Or the Walkman 10, that was a really nice one, but it's still not bad. It's a nice piece of history. I hope you enjoyed this video. I certainly enjoyed making it. If you did, please consider subscribing to Mr. Brown's Basement for more interesting and unusual videos.
Mr. Brown, are you there? As I was saying, Mr. Brown, I remember dating Sony Walkman's sister, Patricia. Her name was actually Patricia, but I called her Patty, like beef patty, even though her first name wasn't actually beef, at least not as far as I know. Back then, Patricia had deep eyes and expressive eyebrows like those of a German Shepherd. Her ears were soft and fuzzy too, but what a voice she had.